With so many big, world-shaking things happening in every episode of Game of Thrones, it can be easy to overlook some of the smaller moments. Here's a spoiler-filled look at some things only real fans noticed in the final season of Game of Thrones. Since the beginning of the show, Daenerys has adopted different traditions and styles from the various tribes and groups she's led and joined, and perhaps the most influential group in her young life is the Dothraki, thanks to the fact that she became a queen of the warrior tribe upon her marriage to Khal Drogo. The Dothraki place an enormous importance upon the length and style of their hair, especially for the men. The more braids a man sports, the more victories he's won in battle, and a Dothraki warrior only cuts his hair if he loses a fight. So the longer the mane, the more formidable the warrior.
When Dothraki are defeated in combat, they cut off their braid so the whole world can see their shame. Khal Drogo has never been defeated.
As a result, Daenerys has sported a lengthy mane featuring a fierce tangle of braids from several seasons. But the 5th episode of the 8th season finds her at a disadvantage, having lost 2 of her most trusted advisors, Jorah and Missandei. When Tyrion checks on her at Dragonstone, her braids are mussed, undone, and ragged, letting the audience know that the Dragon Queen is losing her grip and will end up risking everything to get back on top. When Daenerys was married to the warrior lord Khal Drogo in Thrones' first season, she didn't anticipate having to fight all of her own battles, mostly because Drogo, a prideful and formidable fighter, was all too happy to wage war on her behalf. When Daenerys told him she was pregnant with his son, who was prophesied to be a messiah-like figure known as the stallion who would mount the world, Drogo made a passionate promise to take the Iron Throne on Daenerys' behalf. That sort of violent destruction is exactly what Daenerys and her Dothraki hordes unleashed on King's Landing in the 5th episode of the final season. It seemed out of character until you remember that Daenerys made a similar pact with the Dothraki back in Season 6. Looks like she has more than kept both of those promises. After losing her husband, Daenerys made several attempts to find armies and benefactors to back her in the war to come, and during Thrones' 2nd season, she ran afoul of the warlocks of Qarth, who stole her dragons and lured her into the terrifying and mystical House of the Undying to get them back. Naturally, Daenerys charged into the temple to track down her children and experienced a number of visions along the way, seeing everything from her late husband Drogo and their lost child to a battered and seemingly destroyed Iron Throne. Standing in an empty and ravaged throne room, it seems as if Daenerys is surrounded by snow, but thanks to the aftermath of King's Landing in the wake of her ruthless and murderous siege, it's clear that her vision has come true. And it's not snow, but ashes. Many viewers always believed that the snow was a sign of the Night King, but perhaps, at this point, Daenerys' reign of fire and blood is even more dangerous and destructive than the Night King himself. And before long, audiences will likely see Daenerys standing in the real, ransacked version of the throne room, ready and determined to take whatever is left of the Iron Throne itself. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Game of Thrones are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.